me arms. Do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around.
How's it going, fam? It's Don here from Pegi and Don. Today I want to address one of the most common requests that Pegi and I receive on our channel. People want to see what's in our bug out bag. First of all, let me say this. We are bunker in place type preppers. We have no intention of leaving. There's no amount of civil unrest that's going to drive me and Pegi from our homes. The primary reason for this is that I am a protector at heart. I'm a defender at heart. I'm not going to take off with Pegi and myself and leave my friends and family and kids to fend for themselves. They know that we've made preparations here and this is where they need to come. That's plan A. Now, that being said, there are reasons where we would have to leave, like for a fire evacuation, like wildfires in the area, hurricane evacuation, or an attack by a foreign enemy. I know this is America and it's still highly unlikely, but it is still a possibility and something that should be planned for. So in those instances where we are going to bug out, then we need to have preparations for that. It's very important that in your plan, when you're grabbing your clothes and your other items that don't go in your bug out bag, that you also include your important papers and irreplaceables, such as photos, birth certificates, marriage licenses, family Bibles, and that kind of thing. If for some reason you're unable to return to your home, you're going through a traumatic time, this could help you be able to have the strength to make it to that next step, being able to know that you have that kind of stuff, that you have memories still that you can recall. In my EDC 10, I have I think it's a 64 gigabyte thumb drive with a lot of our family movies and pictures on there. So my EDC 10 will always be with me, and having those memories is something that should not be overlooked. I think that's pretty important. Pegi and I have a little bit of experience when it comes to evacuation. 2016, we were living in Savannah, Georgia, and we had to evacuate because of an incoming hurricane. We were not preppers at the time, but I was fortunate to have 3/4 of a tank of gas in my vehicle. We got on the road along with thousands of other drivers and tried to head west. The roads were packed. Some people had to pull off to the side of the road, to pull off at gas stations to try to get gas. As we made our way through town, we saw vehicles pull over to the side of the road. They got disabled either because they ran out of gas or maybe it was poor maintenance or whatever the reason may be. But they were stuck on the side of the road trying to determine what to do next. It took Pegi and myself and our daughter almost 5 hours just to get out of Savannah. So this is not a good time. That would not be a good time for you to try to figure out where your jack points are or whether your spare tire is good or whether you have enough gas. Those kind of preparations you should be maintaining at all times. Okay, so let's start off with the bag. I have here, this is an SOC tactical bag. I got this bag in 2011. This bag has never let me down. Everything that you see here was able to fit inside this bag with no problem. I'm glad I spent a little bit of extra money to get a good, solid, long-lasting bag. So in this bag, I have these items here, like I said, and let's talk about what we want to do, what the bag is for. Let's start off with the breakdown. If our vehicle becomes disabled for whatever reason, my first priority is to try to get us back on the road. So I want to make sure I have a headlamp to where I can see under the hood if it's in the evening or nighttime when I'm working on the vehicle. I can place this on my head and have my hands free to work on the inside of the vehicle. If it's raining, I want to make sure I have a poncho. If you've ever had to try to work on a vehicle in the rain, you know your mind is just not good. So you want to make sure you stay dry. You also want to make sure you pull off to the side of the road where you're not struck by other people who may not be paying attention so late at night or doing whatever time of day. Pull off to the side of the road, and if it's dark, you mark your behind and front with chem lights if you can, or triangles or whatever you may have to make sure others know that you are there. If we cannot get back on the road, that means we have to stay inside the vehicle overnight. Temperature becomes an issue. It gets cold even in the springtime at night. So we have a few items for staying warm. We have these body warmers. We have a large pack of these body warmers. We have some emergency blankets. If we have to stay in the vehicle overnight, we're going to start having an issue about water and food. Now, I know you see these 4 water bottles and they say that's not enough. We also have this 3-gallon jug that we got from Walmart that will stay full, that will be thrown in the vehicle. It's not on the table here because it won't fit in our bug out bag. But we have this water here. If we needed more water, if for whatever reason we needed more water, we will use what I demonstrated last week in my Finding Safe Water to Drink video. I'll put a link right here. But anyway, I've improved it a little bit. I have the mason jar with the nylon cord, but I also have coffee filters to try to get rid of sediment instead of using the cloth that I use. And I also have an eyedropper with the bleach in it. So this all stays in here, stays together. And finally, of course, I can use the Sawyer water filtration system. All right, so now let's say the vehicle is no longer, we're not able to stay inside the vehicle for whatever reason. Maybe we're in a really bad accident and hopefully everybody's okay. We're gonna have to create shelter. I'm gonna be able to create shelter using the poncho, and I'm also gonna be using 550 cord. I'm gonna be using duct tape, and I'm gonna be using zip ties. Now, just about any veteran or soldier or anybody who's done anything with survival, using just those items, they should be able to improvise a shelter for 2 people. I also have, if we need to build a fire, I have some cotton balls and some white petroleum jelly, also commonly referred to as Vaseline. As you can see here in this video, if you work the Vaseline, the white petroleum jelly in with the cotton balls, it is very easy to light, and this burns for a good minute and a half. I've heard some people say with some jumbo cotton balls, they can get a burn going for about 3 minutes. That should give you enough time to light the tinder and wood or kindling that you find in the area to get a fire going. That way you'll be able to stay warm through the night. I also have a lighter, and I have a ferrous iron or a fire stick or whatever you want to call it, a fire starter that you can use to start a fire. For starting a fire, I also have this cable saw that I can use to cut down small pieces of small branches and stuff like that, 2 to 3 inches in diameter. So that's very important to have. So that's what I have here for the stay warm and sheltering idea, and for the water. For food, okay, you have a few ramen noodles, have a couple cans of corned beef. Against common belief, you don't need so much food in order to survive. It may be difficult, it may be strenuous, but four boxes of ramen noodles, 2 cans of corned beef, maybe I'll throw in a couple more cans, we can give them the fit or whatever else, but that should be enough for you to survive overnight easily. Now I realize that ramen noodles are not what you call nutrient rich. We're talking about trying something that's easily prepared, quick to prepare, and can get us through the night. Also, ramen noodles are very light and don't take much to prepare. So that's why we chose ramen noodles. We also have, for the food, for the eating part, we also have some spoons, forks, and knives. It's hard to eat ramen noodles with your hands. So a lot of people will forget the fork and stuff like that. So I'm glad to have this little plastic set that just sits inside the bag all the time. I have my folding stove if I need to heat up the water for the ramen noodles. I have my folding stove and sterno. I need to add another sterno can just to have a little backup. I demonstrated the folding stove and the sterno a couple months ago, and it works really well. I'll probably do another test on that as well. Moving over, okay, so say we were in a vehicle accident. There may be some injuries involved. Make sure you have a first aid kit, and make sure you have some Bactine. If you're working on a vehicle, you don't want a cut to become so infected to where that becomes another issue that an obstacle for your survival. So you want to make sure you treat all your injuries, clean it, and make sure you protect your injuries and wounds. Well, you know, hygiene is also going to be very important. You can use this to clean a wound, or you can use this to clean yourself for when you have to relieve yourself out there. So we have that and the toilet paper for that purpose. Duct tape, even though I already mentioned it for the shelter, duct tape has numerous uses. Duct tape can be used to repair a radiator hose. Duct tape can be used for the shelter, as I said earlier. Duct tape can be used as a sling. Duct tape just has so many uses that I would never want to have. I don't think anybody should have a bug out bag without duct tape. Of course, you got my favorite, my crank radio flashlight. Light is going to be important. With the crank radio flashlight, we always got enough power. We always got enough for a little light right there. I love this thing. We can also use it for a radio, and as I've demonstrated before, we can use this to charge our phones. So in case we are able to make phone calls, I'll be able to continuously use this to charge our phones. Other things I got in my bag, I got a Gerber type tool, a multi-tool. This has the bottle openers, can openers if necessary, knife, anything like that. I have a dog horn. If you're going to be spending time out there in an open area, you want to be able to ward off wild creatures and stuff like that. We also have bear spray, not in the bag, but we'll be taking that with us. And I also have more aggressive protective measures. I have my licensed and registered firearm. That's going to be a very, very important thing for you to understand. You don't put that in your bag. Your firearm does not go in your bag if you're one who believes in carrying one, as I am. That needs to be with you at all times. In those kind of situations, there's certain people do get desperate and they may attempt to try to get what you have. I will be keeping that with me. But you have to remember that you have it, because when you travel, not all states are as open-minded about having a firearm in your vehicle. So you got to make sure you understand the rules of where you're going. Our location and our B location are both open carry states, so I'm just fortunate in that aspect. We have our respirators. We have a pair of them here that we keep inside the bag. We also have a couple of them here that's just for the house, and safe in case other people are here and we're trying to defend home, tear gas and that kind of thing. So we have our respirators right here also. These are the items that we have in our bug out bag. I am sure there are plenty of other items that can be included in your bug out bag that I might get some suggestions for, but these are the items that we have chosen to select to take with us in an evacuation emergency. We're constantly checking and updating our bag too. When we get suggestions or better ways of taking care of a scenario, then we'll if we're able to put that in our bag, we'll make this switch and we'll be able to include that in our preparations. Hopefully that answers the question and the request that we've been getting about what's in our bug out bag. Like I said, my first priority, unless it's something that's just completely unavoidable, my first thing is trying to defend the home. Peggy and I are bunker in place type preppers, but it is a possibility that we may be required to leave, and we gotta be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for all situations, and so that's something that we want to be prepared for, and I feel like we're gonna be very prepared for. That is all I have for the day, fam. I'm glad to share this with you. Please make sure you get out there and do something good for yourself and for others as well. Signing off, this is Don from Pegi and Don, and y'all have a good one.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust.